The clinking sound of a glass being tapped echoed through the room, pulling everyone's attention toward the head table. I looked up, and there she was, my mother, standing tall, smiling from ear to ear, her eyes shining with joy. She lifted her glass high, her voice cheerful and full of emotion. "To Grace," she said. "To the one who made this magical day happen. I couldn't have done it without you." I froze. For a second, I honestly thought I misheard her. But then the entire room broke into applause. Laughter, clapping, cheerful cheers, all for Grace. Grace, who sat just a few chairs down from me, gave a modest little smile, nodding sweetly like she hadn't just stolen everything I had poured my heart into. "My name is Anna Clark. I'm 30 years old. And I used to think my mother and I were close. We had this bond. Movie nights with popcorn, long walks with coffee in hand, talks that went on for hours. She was more than just my mom, she was my friend, my support, my person. But all of that started to change when Mark came into her life. He was charming, polite, a little too polished maybe, but he made my mom happy, or so I thought. What I didn't realize was that his daughter, Grace, would slowly replace me in ways I never imagined. Grace was younger than me. Beautiful in the way that made people look twice. Always polite, always smiling, always saying the right thing. From the outside, she was perfect. But underneath all that sweetness, there was something calculating, something I only started to notice when it was already too late. When Mom and Mark got engaged, I saw it as a chance. A fresh start. A way to reconnect with Mom, to prove that I still mattered to her. So I offered to plan the wedding. I took care of everything. The venue. The flowers. The menu. The invitations. Every little detail. And I paid for most of it too, quietly, without ever asking for recognition. Mom insisted on keeping it a secret. "Let it be a surprise," she said. "I want to enjoy the magic of it all. And you're so good at this kind of thing, Anna." At the time, I took her words as trust. I thought she believed in me. I thought we were working towards something special, together. But now, as I sat frozen at that table while she gave Grace all the credit, I realized just how wrong I'd been. The truth was, Grace had been telling my mother that she was the one planning everything. I hadn't known it back then. I was too busy, too focused on trying to make everything perfect. Late nights, early mornings, spreadsheets, emails, meetings, my life became the wedding. I told myself, this will bring us back together. This will show her how much I care. But behind the scenes, Grace had been twisting the story. I remembered a day, maybe 3 weeks before the wedding. I was sitting at the kitchen table, writing down guest names. Mom and Grace were in the living room, just a few feet away. I wasn't trying to eavesdrop. But their voices carried. "Oh, Grace," Mom said with a laugh. "You've been such a lifesaver with all this wedding planning. I honestly don't know how I'd have managed without you." My pen stopped mid-word. My body tensed. Grace responded, soft and sweet as ever, "It's nothing really. I just want your day to be perfect. You deserve it." Mom's voice grew even warmer. "I'm so lucky to have you as my stepdaughter. I thought Anna was handling it, but you're probably better at this kind of thing anyway." I sat there in silence, staring at the paper. My hands shaking. Back then, I told myself it didn't matter. That maybe Grace had helped in ways I hadn't seen. That maybe Mom was just being kind. But now, hearing Mom stand up in front of everyone and thank Grace like she had done all the work, it was like getting hit in the chest with a brick. I had been the one who spent hours fixing the flower order when the ones Mom wanted weren't in season. I had dealt with the venue when it got double booked, staying on the phone for hours until I found a backup that matched the vision. I had designed the invitations myself to save money, folded every napkin by hand, and even paid for the upgraded catering to make sure Mom had her favorite dishes. I had done it all. And Grace had done, what? Smiled and taken the credit. And Mom believed her. She believed her over me. The applause for Grace still thundered in my ears as I sat there, my hands clenched in my lap. I didn't cry, not yet, but I could feel the tears burning behind my eyes. I forced a small smile onto my face, pretending I was fine, pretending this wasn't breaking my heart in real time. I looked at Grace just as she glanced at me. She smirked. Just for a second. It wasn't big. It wasn't obvious. But it was there. A little twitch at the corner of her lips. She knew what she had done. And she was proud of it. Mom went on with her speech, glowing, emotional, full of love, but not for me. "I'm so lucky to have you as my stepdaughter," she said, voice trembling slightly. "You've made this day magical." And just like that, it was like I never existed. All the effort, the sacrifice, the love I had poured into this day, gone. Forgotten. I stayed quiet the rest of the evening. I smiled when people spoke to me. I clapped at the speeches. I posed for a few pictures. I ate a few bites of food I no longer had an appetite for. But inside, something had broken. I didn't confront anyone. Not that night. Not during the wedding. Because this was her day, my mother's day. And even though she didn't see me, even though she didn't acknowledge me, I couldn't be the one to ruin it. So I waited. I smiled. I endured. But I knew one thing for sure, this changed everything. And when the night ended, and the music stopped, and the lights dimmed, I slipped out quietly, the applause for Grace still ringing in my ears. When Grace spoke, her words hit me like a slap to the face. I felt my chest tighten, and without even thinking, I stepped closer to her. My voice shook, not with fear, but with anger that had been building for days. "You're unbelievable," I said, glaring at her. "You knew exactly what you were doing. You didn't care about me or the work I put in. All you wanted was the attention." Grace didn't even flinch. She just shrugged, looking completely calm, like none of this mattered to her. "If it means that much to you, talk to Mom," she said coolly. "It's not my fault if she thinks I'm better at this stuff than you are." I stared at her, stunned by how cold she was. I couldn't believe this was my own sister. Disgust and disbelief boiled inside me. "You're pathetic," I said quietly, my voice firm, "and the truth will come out. Enjoy the spotlight while you can, Grace." I didn't wait for her to say anything else. I turned around, walked out of her apartment, and slammed the door behind me. My heart was pounding, and my hands were shaking, but not from fear, from determination. I didn't know how I was going to do it yet, but I was done letting Grace steal what I'd worked so hard for. I was going to make sure everyone finally saw the truth. Then came Grace's birthday. I wasn't invited. I wasn't surprised either. My brother had mentioned the party in passing, how it was going to be big. Her friends would be there, her boyfriend Liam, Mom, the whole family. I sat alone at home that evening, my eyes fixed on the folder sitting on the table in front of me. It was packed with everything: receipts, email threads, text messages, proof that I had planned and paid for Mom's wedding. Every bit of it. I had done the work, but Grace had taken all the credit, letting everyone believe she was the one who pulled it off. And worst of all, Mom believed her. It hurt more than I wanted to admit. Grace hadn't just stolen recognition, she'd stolen the bond one had with Mom, twisted it into something fake. I couldn't sit in silence anymore. I grabbed the folder, threw on my coat, and walked out the door. I didn't have a perfect speech planned, and I had no idea what would happen when I got there, but I knew one thing: I wasn't going to let Grace lie to our family anymore. When I got to her place, the party was in full swing. Laughter spilled out into the hallway as I stood outside her door. I took a deep breath, knocked once, and waited. The music inside lowered, and a moment later, Grace opened the door. Her smile vanished the second she saw me. "Anna," she said sharply, "what are you doing here?" "I'm here to crash the party," I said calmly, walking past her into the room. Everyone fell quiet as I stepped inside. I could feel all their eyes on me. Mom was on the couch with a drink in her hand, and Liam stood near the cake table, looking confused. "Sorry to interrupt," I said loudly, "but I have something important to say." Grace closed the door slowly behind me. Her face had gone pale. She tried to speak, but I held up a hand. "This won't take long. I've watched Grace take credit for something I worked myself to the bone to pull off, and tonight, I'm putting a stop to it." I opened the folder and pulled out the first sheet. "This is the contract I signed with the wedding venue," I said, holding it up. "My name, my payment, I booked it. Then the caterers, the menu, the flowers. I went through every piece of evidence one by one. Receipts, emails, texts. I laid it all bare. I planned everything for Mom's wedding. I made sure every detail was right, and Grace didn't lift a finger. She just took the credit. The room was silent. No one moved. No one said a word. Mom looked like she'd seen a ghost. Her drink trembled in her hand. Grace stood frozen near the door, her jaw clenched tight. Anna, Mom whispered. Grace told me. Grace lied. I cut in. I turned to my sister. Go ahead, Grace. Tell them how you let Mom believe you did all the work. Tell them how you stood at the reception and smiled like you deserved the praise. Grace opened her mouth, but nothing came out at first. Then she stammered. I didn't lie. I didn't correct her. I didn't think it mattered. I couldn't believe my ears. Didn't matter, I said, my voice rising. You watched me break my back for months. You watched me cry, stress, and push through exhaustion, and it didn't matter? Liam stepped forward. His face was serious now. Grace, he said slowly, is that true? Did you lie about the wedding? Liam, she started, but he cut her off. Just tell me the truth. Grace looked around, then finally said, fine, yes, Anna did it, but so what? It was just one day. That was it. The room gasped. Liam's face hardened. It wasn't just one day, he said coldly, it was trust, and you broke it. We're done. Grace's mouth dropped open. Her face went pale as Liam walked out without another word. I turned to Mom. She was crying now. I tried to tell you, I said gently, but you didn't want to hear it. I didn't know, she whispered. I'm so sorry, Anna. I should have asked. I should have known. It's too late now, I said, but at least you finally know the truth. I picked up my folder and left the party behind, walking out into the night, and for the first time in a long time, I felt like I could breathe. A few days later, my phone rang. I looked at the screen. Mark, Grace's dad. He rarely called. I hesitated, then picked up. Hello? Anna, he said. His voice was slow, heavy. It's Mark. I hope I'm not bothering you. No, it's okay, I said quietly. What's going on? He paused for a long moment. I just wanted to say I'm sorry, he said finally, for what Grace did, for what you went through. My throat tightened. You don't have to apologize for her, I said. You didn't do this. I know, but still, I feel like I failed. I raised her better than that. He sighed deeply. When I saw what she did, stealing your hard work, I felt sick. You didn't deserve that. No one does. Thank you, I said softly. His words were unexpected, and they meant more than I expected. I know it doesn't fix what happened, he said, but if there's anything I can do, just tell me. I paused, then said, just talk to her, help her understand why this wasn't okay. I will, he promised, I really will. In the weeks that followed, things slowly changed. Mom called often, apologizing again and again. I told her I forgave her, but I also made it clear that things couldn't go back to how they were. Trust had to be rebuilt, slowly. Grace, meanwhile, disappeared from the center of attention. Friends distanced themselves. Liam was gone for good. The spotlight she loved so much was gone, and with it, her fake reputation. As for me, I felt free. I stopped chasing validation from people who never saw my worth. I focused on myself, picked up hobbies I'd forgotten, spent time with real friends, and created boundaries that protected my peace. Mom and I found a new rhythm. It wasn't perfect, but it was real, and that was enough. Grace became just another person in the background of my life. I didn't hate her. I didn't wish her harm, but I also didn't feel sorry for her, not really. Because in the end, the truth came out. And it set me free.